Hey there, everyone. I hope you're all doing good. Today, I want to talk to you about a module I have since quite a while, which is one of my favorite filter. I will say it a few times in this video probably, but I consider it more as an instrument of its own than a classic synthesizer filter. The QPAS by Make Noise. There's already quite a few videos about this one, because it's an old module. It's more than 5 years old now, I think. But anyway, I will just give you a quick overview of what it does. First, it's a stereo filter, so you have a stereo input, followed by a VCA, so you can control the volume of your input signal with any sort of control voltages. It's an exponential VCA, which means that if you send it a linear control, it will turn it to an exponential curve. Then you have the core filter. Let's just plug a saw wave into it. Yeah, start to be QPAS right now. Should notice that we are only at 12 o'clock. And yeah, from beyond 12 o'clock, the resonance starts to take over the signal. It starts to pick up harmonic in a really weird way. And as I said, it's stereo. Let's use it in stereo. Because it's actually 4 filters. So this was our main frequency control. And here we have the frequency of the 2 filters that are panned on the left. The fact it has that multiple peaks makes it perfect to make vowel-y type of sounds. Usually to make these kind of sounds you have to patch quite a few stuff. Here it just does it. You can modulate independently the 2 filters on the right and 2 filters on the left. If you patch something just here, it will be sent to control the left channel as well, directly. And then we can control the main frequency, 2 inputs. We can also control the resonance. As you can hear, you can get some crazy stuff going on with just a saw wave into it and sending just a few LFOs random and stuff like this. There's also those weird mystery inputs that just does things. The 2 are different. Never really cared for them, but they're fun. Sometimes just plug something in and see what happens. This just to tell you that it's a pretty weird filter. The little trick that I wanted to show in particular was that I'm using two outputs in a mono way. I have here the low pass output that goes through this Optomix. Here I control the main frequency. And with one envelope here, I'm controlling only this side of the QPAS, only the left side, so my low pass. On this channel of the Optomix, I have the bandpass out that is controlled by a random voltage from the woggle bug. Adding some resonance, we can get to the point where the QPAS starts to talk. And if we add the low-pass channel top, we have that sort of super tall key bass thing of the low pass mixed with the band pass all together in a mono situation, but each with separate controls. I like to ping the bandpass as well on the strike input, just to give that little tick tick tick. Can just blend in as well a little bit. Then I have a hefty amount of weird delays from the echophone. Pitch being modulated by the slowest possible setting on this side of the DPO. This is typically something that I would control using the pressure point. As we're on the pressure point, let's control the main frequency of the QPAS as well. This is why I love the pressure point. This is why I wanted a QPAS, is for this kind of vowely weirdness. I don't know why, it reminds me of what you can hear sometimes from the Phoenix tracks made by Aphex Twin. Let's add reverb on top with the blue sky. Add some pitch wiggle with this one. I'm using the conductivity of the case to increase the voltage inside the pressure output because it's just transmitting electricity from your body. So if you touch something else that's containing electricity, you just boom. So one of my favorite things to do with QPAS is to use it to process external sounds, especially breakbeats, because it can really mangle them when you start to send weird control voltages as well. Let's start with a simple sound. I have this breakbeat line, mono out of the tracker, going to the preamp here, then into QPAS. I can of course play with the filter frequency. If you want to start to get the QPAS flavor, it's with the resonance. Now you start to get those really weird resonating things. And you can get from a mono signal to something very stereo by playing with the radiates control. Okay, so let's make this patch a bit crazier. I also have the audio out, post preamplifier, going to this function that I'm using as an envelope follower. So audio to the input, signal input, rise almost to the minimum, then bit of fall that's adjustable at taste. This is now going to control the main frequency of QPAS. Which will allow us to really reshape the dynamic of the sound. From subtle to completely extreme. I'm using the end of rise here. That actually doesn't happen that much. To clock the wogglebug. So once in a while, when the rhythm gets quieter at some points, it will make the wogglebug spit out a new random value. I'm going to use it here, on the main frequency as well. But I could also use it on the radiate controls. Which will give me some sort of stereo weirdness. One thing I like to do very much is to also modulate that at audio rate. So I'm going to take that sine wave from the DPO, attenuate it here in math. Set that to frequency 2, which is unattenuated at first. Just a tiny bit is enough, especially if you start to add more resonance. But that's what I'm talking about. That sounds awesome. That's some proper weird breakbeat. Then you can tinker with the different outputs. With the bandpass, you can avoid having too much low-frequency weird content. You can also get to almost noise territory like this. The shorter the fall is, the more often it will trigger random values as well. Quite an organic relationship between all of this. The smile pass is actually much more phasery, because it doesn't remove any really low or really high frequencies. It gets more of a sort of sweepy weirdness. Also really good. It tends to be funnier with slow modulation, which is why I went to the LFO here. I will make a more fudging reel out of those breakbeats. Okay, that was fun. Let's unplug all this and do another patch. Okay, one of my other favorite patch with the QPAS is what I often refer to as the Marimba patch. It uses the classic modular technique of filter pinging. I've done a few videos about it, but I will briefly explain it again. Instead of sending audio to your filter input, you will send triggers or very short pulses. Here I have this channel of tempi set to output trigger. So let's try with this one. It usually works better with the bandpass. So I will take the bandpass out. Okay, nothing very interesting here. As you start increasing the resonance, you can hear that it makes that little impulse resonate. And basically, the more resonance, the longer it will ring. QPAS can ring sort of indefinitely. And your cutoff frequency becomes the frequency at which the signal resonates. So there's one thing I don't like with the tempi though, is that you can hear that it's sort of double trigger. If I take a gate, you hear that it will resonate on the falling portion as well. So it does 2 hits in one cycle of the clock. So what I usually do is that I use an envelope generator such as function or one of the channel of math, and I make it as short as possible. Full exponential and nothing. No rise, no fall. So it gives us something much more clicky. Actually, one of my favorite patches to do with this is the so-called ping pong or bouncing ball patch. So we'll have this one at a given rate, another channel of math, longer, This is the one giving the rhythm. So I'm going to use this one to advance René. You will soon hear the marimba, don't worry. The marimba part comes in when you start using the radiates controls. Let's put a bit of reverb. Sometimes I also like to just use it in a sequenced way like this. If you start to frequency modulate it, can get bongo-y. Let's clock the Wogglebug and play with the radiates and also make this patch stereo. Oh yeah. If we are happy with our sequence, we could also save it. Using the QCV out. So we can have access to a second layer of control here. Which I like to use to control the VCA input of QPAS. Which will basically give us velocity. We could also use it to control the Q, which will basically give us a voltage control decay on each note. Scale the reverb to hear it easier. This is my minimal Q setting. We are not in the Marimba anymore. We are in weirdo FM tones. Perfect for plate reverb type of sounds. Once again, it's very good, this QPAS, at making sound on its own. It's an instrument. It's not a filter. It's much more of an instrument of its own than just a regular filter. Very much like the VCFQ from Surge. Which is probably a bit inspired on... They said that it was inspired by the Minimoog as well. Not the Minimoog, the Voyager, which added a stereo filter. No one knows about this. Let's get weirder. There's no end to the weird with this patch. But once again, notice that we are just not using any oscillators here. Only a trigger into a filter and lots of CV control. And a nice sounding reverb, of course. Can go pretty bassy as well, which is quite good. As soon as you remove the FM part, it becomes much more acoustic and glassy sounding. Still weird though. Perfect for special effects. That's it. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Go visit Patreon and the affiliate links below if you want to support the channel. Bye bye.